Can you imagine a world where speed, wealth, and danger intertwine on a global stage? Welcome to the world of Formula One racing. This high-octane sport, brimming with adrenaline and passion, has roots that stretch back to the late 1940s. Following the devastation of World War II, the world was in dire need of unity, excitement, and a fresh start. The answer came in the form of European Grand Prix motor racing. This sport, already popular before the war, was set to evolve, to adapt, to become something even more thrilling and universally appealing. The post-war desire for a unified set of rules became the catalyst for change, a beacon guiding the sport towards a new era. The Fédération Internationale de l'Automobile, or the FIA, rose to the occasion, and in 1950 Formula One racing was born. The early years of Formula One were marked by the dominance of Italian teams. Alfa Romeo, a name synonymous with power and prestige, took center stage. Their cars, sleek and powerful, were a force to be reckoned with, but they were not alone. Another Italian heavyweight, Ferrari, was also making waves. With their signature red cars and unyielding determination, they quickly established themselves as frontrunners in this new high-speed world. The birth of Formula One racing was not just about speed and competition, though. It was a symbol of rejuvenation, a testament to the human spirit's ability to turn tragedy into triumph. It brought together nations, sparked rivalries, and created heroes. It was a spectacle of speed, a celebration of wealth, and an arena where danger was just part of the thrill. So, as the 1940s drew to a close, a new era of racing was born, promising speed, wealth, and high stakes. And little did the world know then, just how influential this sport would become. But how did these machines of speed evolve over time? Let's travel back to the 1950s when Formula One racing was in its infancy. Back then, the focus was primarily on engine power, with raw horsepower being the key to victory. However, as the sport has evolved, so too has the technology driving these high-speed marvels. From the 1960s onwards, aerodynamics grew in importance, as teams began to realize that reducing drag and improving downforce could dramatically enhance performance. Wings were introduced, first at the front and then at the back, forever changing the look and feel of these racing machines. By the 1970s, the focus had shifted again, this time towards fuel efficiency. With races often being won or lost based on the number of pit stops, engineers began to develop engines that could deliver maximum power with minimal fuel consumption. This period also saw the introduction of slick tires, which provided more grip, and hence, greater speed. The 1980s heralded a new era with the introduction of turbochargers, devices that forced more air into the engine to increase power output. This turbo era was characterized by some of the fastest and most powerful cars the sport has ever seen. Fast forward to the 1990s and we see the advent of semi-automatic gearboxes. This technology allowed drivers to shift gears without taking their hands off the steering wheel, leading to faster lap times and more intense racing. In the new millennium, the focus shifted yet again, this time towards tire management. With the introduction of different tire types for varying weather and track conditions, strategic tire usage became a crucial aspect of the sport. And let's not forget the most recent technological leap, the introduction of hybrid engines in the 2010s, combining internal combustion engines with energy recovery systems. These hybrid power units have made Formula One cars more powerful, and importantly, more environmentally friendly than ever before. As the decades rolled on, the cars got faster, the stakes higher, and the sport more thrilling. The evolution of speed in Formula One is a testament to human ingenuity and the relentless pursuit of perfection. But what about the wealth associated with Formula One? Where does it come from and how much are we talking about? Well, let's start with the sources of this glittering fortune. Formula One is a sport that generates billions. The wealth comes from several avenues: team sponsorships, broadcast rights, race hosting fees, and more. Team sponsorships form the backbone of this wealth. Big-name brands are tripping over themselves to sponsor these high-speed chariots and their daring drivers. The likes of Red Bull, Mercedes, and Ferrari pour hundreds of millions each year into their teams, while oil companies, banks, and telecom giants emblazon their logos on these sleek, aerodynamic beasts. Then there's the vast income from broadcast rights. Formula One is a global spectacle viewed by hundreds of millions of fans worldwide. Broadcasters pay hefty sums for the privilege of bringing this adrenaline-fueled drama into living rooms across the globe. Race hosting fees, too, add to the coffers. Countries pay a pretty penny for the privilege of being part of the F1 calendar, The glamour, prestige, and the influx of tourists that an F1 race brings are seen as worth the considerable investment. But how much are we talking about here? Well, it's difficult to pin down exact figures, but it's estimated that the total annual revenue of Formula One hovers around the $3 billion mark. Yes, that's billion with a B. And let's not forget the drivers. The top earners in this sport are some of the highest paid athletes in the world. We're talking tens of millions per year in salary, not to mention the money from endorsements and personal sponsorships. So, Formula One isn't just about the thrill of speed, it's also about the thrill of wealth. The teams, the drivers, the countries hosting the races, they're all part of a multi-billion-dollar business that shows no signs of slowing down. So, the world of Formula One isn't just about speed, it's also about immense wealth. But with great speed and wealth comes great risk. What is the dark side of Formula One? In the high-stakes world of Formula One racing, danger lurks at every turn. The tremendous speed, the precision required, the adrenaline pumping through a driver's veins, all of these elements blend to create an intoxicating cocktail of thrill and peril. Drivers are constantly pushing the limits of their machines, their skill, and their endurance. But in this pursuit of glory, the dark side of speed emerges, often with devastating consequences. The history of Formula One is marred by fatal crashes and serious injuries. Legends like Ayrton Senna and Jules Bianchi paid the ultimate price, their lives tragically cut short on the racetrack. Each incident, a stark reminder of the dangers that accompany the glamour and glory of this high-speed sport. Yet, with each tragedy, comes learning and improvement. Senna's death in 1994 led to a radical overhaul of safety measures, including the introduction of the Hans device to protect drivers' necks, and significant changes to track designs to enhance safety. Bianchi's accident in 2014 resulted in the virtual safety car slowing down the race during hazardous conditions. The sport continues to evolve, with safety at the forefront, but the risk remains. It's a delicate balance, this dance between risk and entertainment. The thrill of speed, the exhilarating uncertainty of overtakes, the nail-biting suspense of a close race, these are what draw millions of fans worldwide. But beneath this spectacle, the drivers face a very real danger each time they strap into their cockpits. They understand the risks, yet they choose to race, to push the boundaries, to chase the thrill that only speed can provide. Their courage, their determination, their resilience, these are the traits that make Formula One drivers the gladiators of the modern age. Yet they too are human, susceptible to the same fears and dangers as the rest of us. So while the allure of speed and wealth is intoxicating, it's important to remember the very real dangers that these drivers face every time they get behind the wheel. So where does that leave us today? What is the state of Formula One in the present day? We find ourselves in an era where Formula One has transcended beyond just a sport. It has become a global phenomenon. The landscape of Formula One today is shaped by a fierce competition, not just between the drivers but also the teams. The top teams, including Mercedes, Red Bull, and Ferrari, are constantly pushing the boundaries of technology and human skill, vying for dominance on the racetrack. These teams are helmed by some of the most talented drivers the world has ever seen. Names like Lewis Hamilton, Max Verstappen, and Charles Leclerc have become synonymous with speed and precision, each striving to etch their names in the annals of Formula One history. They are the gladiators in the modern-day Colosseum, battling not just against each other, but also against time, gravity, and the inherent dangers of the sport. The global popularity of Formula One has surged in recent years, thanks in part to the advent of streaming and digital media. No longer confined to traditional television broadcasts, races are now streamed live across the globe, bringing the thrill of Formula One to millions of screens, big and small. The roar of the engines, the blur of speed, and the drama of the competition are now more accessible than ever. The sport continues to evolve both technologically and culturally. New regulations and technological advancements aim to make the sport safer and more sustainable, while also maintaining the high-speed thrill that defines Formula One. Inclusion and diversity have become central themes, as Formula One seeks to broaden its appeal and represent its global fan base. From its humble beginnings to its current global status, Formula One has truly become a spectacle of speed, wealth, and high stakes. It's a world where technology, money, and risk combine to create one of the most thrilling sports on the planet.